Inside this video topic, we'll discuss about WordPress custom plugin development. Yes, friends, inside this video topic, we'll create a custom plugin of WordPress which can be used for copy to clipboard feature. It means whenever if this plugin will be activated, so it will provide a shortcode, and whenever if we paste that shortcode inside any of the WordPress post, inside any of the WordPress page, automatically copy to clipboard feature will work. So this interesting concept we'll discuss by the help of a WordPress custom plugin inside this very interesting video. Now to start this interesting concept, let's go back to browser. So now I'm inside a WordPress project of my local host. First thing first, I'll click on this plugins, click on installed plugins. So as we can see, there is no plugin available into this list which can provide copy to clipboard feature. Now this plugin will create inside this very interesting video. Let's go back to VS Code. So inside this VS Code, basically I have opened this WordPress setup. So first thing first, let's go and quickly set up that WordPress custom plugin. So to create custom plugin inside WordPress, go inside developing content, then plugins folder. Now inside this plugins folder, let's create a plugin and I will say copy to clipboard. Now inside this folder, let's create plugin main file. It will be a .php file. So here I will say copy to clipboard.php. Now quickly inside this .php file, let's add some multi-line comments so that this plugin will be introduced into our WordPress setup. So here PHP tag, then multi-line comment syntax, and the first key we have to pass as plugin name. So let's say copy to clipboard, copy to clipboard plugin. Then after, let's provide a plugin description. So this plugin will provide a shortcode, and that shortcode will be something called copy underscore text, and also it will provide an attribute called text, and inside this text we can provide our custom text value. And whenever if this shortcode will be pasted inside any of the WordPress post, inside any of the WordPress page, automatically it will provide a layout of button as well. So this plugin will provide a shortcode which can be used for copy to clipboard feature. Now then after, let's say author, then here version number, so 1.0. Now apart from that, also we have more parameters which can be used or which can be added inside this multi-line comment. Those parameters are like plugin URI, author URI, text domain, but for the time being these are okay. Now in the next line, first thing first, as we know that this is a WordPress plugin, so obviously we need a WordPress setup. This standalone plugin which cannot be used inside any inside PHP application. This plugin will be used only inside WordPress. So for that, let's pass is not defined. So WordPress basically provides a constant called ABS path, which stands for absolute path. If this constant does not exist, it means that that will be not a WordPress setup. So automatically exit from here. Now, if the provided setup is a WordPress setup, so what we'll do, let's create first a class. So copy to clipboard, and inside this class, let's create first the construct function. So public function construct, and inside this construct, I will pass, let's say, two lines of code. So first, I will pass add shortcode. This is a WordPress function. By the help of this function, we can create a shortcode inside WordPress. So here, as per the IntelliSense, we can see that we have to pass two arguments called our shortcode tag and the callback function. Callback function is nothing. This function is going to handle what basically the shortcode will do. So here, first, as we know from this description, the shortcode will be called copy underscore text. It is user defined. You can put your own. So here, it will be copy underscore text. And Inside second parameter, as we know, we have to pass the callback function. So here, if suppose we are not using the class-based approach to create this plugin, so in that case, simply we can pass the function name call here, and this function will be defined something called function and then function name. But here we are following the class-based approach. So in that case, this syntax will be a bit different. Let's remove from here. Now let's go inside this construct, pass here. So instead of passing this function name, as we know, functions will become methods inside this class. So to call methods, we need to pass an array. So this is like this keyword here, it's an object of this class, and by the help of that object, we can call that method. So here it will be, let's say, render shortcode, or we may say render plugin shortcode. Now, one more line of code we need, and that is like we need to provide some CSS of that button. What basically we can create for the look and feel of copy to clipboard, and obviously we want some JavaScript code. It means whenever if we click on that button, we need to copy the text into clipboard. So here it will be add action, and inside this add action, look at the IntelliSense. We have to provide call hook name, callback, priority, and the accepted arguments. So here we have to use only two parameters for the time being, called hook name and callback. So it will be for the hook name admin underscore enq underscore scripts. Now then after into this second value we have to pass the callback function, and that function is a method of this class. So it will be this object and the method, let's say attach plugin assets, or we may say instead of attach, let's say include plugin assets. Now quickly let's copy these method name and here render shortcode. So public function, and the function name we have this, and the second include JS plus CSS file. So it will be public function and function name. Now inside this, here we have to use this copy text, which will be a shortcode. So let's pass a function, or before that, like before adding some code into this method, let's work first for this function. So what I will do, I'll go into this plugin, and either we can make a assets folder, and inside that assets folder, we can place our JavaScript or CSS file. So here, let's quickly create a folder and call assets. And inside this folder, let's create a file, and I will say style.css. I'll create one more file, and let's first style.css. Then I'll create one more file, script.js. So here, this is custom CSS file. If I copy custom JS file, now let's go to our main plugin file, and here I'll use the function of WordPress to include this style.css and to include this script.js. So what are those functions? So it will be WP in queue, and first if we are trying to add our CSS, so it will be called style. Look at IntelliSense, we have to pass some arguments, that is handle, which is a unique identifier of that file, then source path, dependencies, version number, and media. So here to include this style.css, we need to pass only two values for now, called handle and source path. So I will say, let's say copy to clipboard hyphen css, and into this second value we need to pass the path of this file. So I will use one more WordPress function, and it will be plugin dir URL, which will return the path of this plugin in format of plugin, and I will pass this magical constant of PHP, that is double underscore file and double underscore. Then we have to concatenate, like after getting the path up to this plugin. So for this file, we have to go next into this assets folder. So it will be assets folder, and then we have to add called style.css. Now this is the successful inclusion of style.css to this main plugin file. Now next, we are looking to add this script.js. So here, let's quickly add some comment CSS and JS. Now to add JavaScript file, it will be called WP in Q, and in place of style, we have to add call script. Look at IntelliSense. We have to pass again some values called handle, source file path, dependencies, version, and arguments. So here, I will first pass copy to clipboard, copy to clipboard hyphen JS. Now then after source file path, so plugin dir URL double underscore file double underscore, then we have to go into assets folder, and then we have the file called script.js. Now into third value of this IntelliSense, like of this function, we have to pass dependencies. So this file is not going to dependent on any other file, so just pass a blank array. And also, if we are interested to pass these values, so obviously we can pass here. So version, like false here. So let's pass a version number called 1.0, and the next parameter we can pass called now true. After inclusion of this style.css and script.js, what we can do, just go and copy this class name, and let's call that. So we can call that class by using this new keyword and this class name. Now once this class will be called, as we know inside PHP, this construct function automatically gets executed. So inside this construct, here we have function called add shortcode. So this shortcode, like this function, will be available, and also this function will be available. And here we have some mistake, that is this is not admin in Q script, it will be scripts. Now once this function will be available, so by the help of this function, we are including our CSS and JS file. Let's save these changes. Let's do a quick unit testing. If I go, now as we can see, there is no plugin what basically we have created. Let's reload. And now here, copy to clipboard plugin. So this is the plugin name, plugin description. Here we have the author and the version number. Let's click on activate button. Plugin activated. Now if I go to source code, so view page source, or the shortcut key we have called Control plus U. Now inside this shortcode, if I search for copy to, so here as we can see that inside the source code, here we have, that is style.css, and this CSS file is coming, look at here, copy to clipboard plugin. Also if I go and search, now here we can see script.js file at footer. This file is also coming from this copy to clipboard plugin. So successfully, now by the help of this small snippet of code, now we have added style.css and a script.js file. Now in the next part, let's go and work with this render plugin shortcode method. Now by the help of that, we'll handle like how basically our shortcode will work, and how basically we can work with copy to clipboard feature. So quickly, as we know that inside this copy text or this copy to clipboard shortcode, here we have one more attribute called text, and inside this text we can pass our custom text value. So this shortcode will display this text value at front end, and also a copy to clipboard button, and when user click on copy to clipboard, this text will get copied. So what we can do, just go here, it means we can handle this concept. This is a parameterized shortcode. Parameterized shortcode means the shortcode which basically accepts parameter. So here this is a parameter. So let's go here. Now inside this, I will pass, let's say, attribute. Like here, text is an attribute, so it comes under this attribute variable. Now here, let's say atts, it means attributes equals to, I'll use a WordPress function called shortcode atts. Now it will provide the flexibility to handle the parameterized shortcode. Now, inside this IntelliSense, we can see that it provides like we need to pass three arguments called pairs, attributes, and shortcode. So inside these pairs, if we are interested to pass the default value of the attributes, we can pass that. So for example, here we have a text attribute. Now I want that, let's say if user is not going to pass any value inside this attribute, so in that case, I'll use a default value. So here, just go and pass the first argument. It's an array, and I will say that this shortcode will contain a attribute called text, and for that text we have, let's say, copy to clipboard text. Now this is a default text. Now inside the second argument we have to pass the attribute. So these are the attribute. Let's copy, pass here, and the third value we have to pass our shortcode, and this is the shortcode. Let's copy and let's pass here. Now successfully. Now this is a very small snippet of code. By the help of that, we can handle our parameterized shortcode. Now let's copy this atts. Now here, like copy to clipboard content, we may say, or copy content equals to, I'll use one more function of WordPress, and it is escape HTML. For example, if any user will pass some HTML content to this attribute, so here before reading that value, let's escape the HTML part of it. So esc HTML, and I will pass atts, and this atts will contain a attribute called text. So this is the value what basically we can accept from our shortcode. Now then after, let's ob start, we are starting our php buffer, and here ob get clean. Now in this, let's write some piece of html code. So for the time being, to show like how it works, let's pass an h1 attribute and text, and if I pass, let's say, okay, copy text, we may say, let's copy, so echo and copy text. Now if I save these changes, so if I copy this short code, let's go here, and if I go to post, click on all post, let's open into a new tab. So right now I have only a single post called hello world. Let's click on edit. I'll go here. So I will type simply forward slash short code. It's a block, and here I'll use our short code called copy text. So right now I'm not passing our text attribute. So if I click on this save button, saved, let's open view post, and now we can see text copy to clipboard text. Remember, this is the text, but basically it is coming from this default value. But in case, let's say if user pass any like custom value here, if I go, let's say text attribute, so my text value. Now if I save this, go here, let's reload, and now we can see my text value. Now in place of this text, I want that here we have a some kind of button, and whenever if I click on that button, copy to clipboard feature will work. So how basically we can create that button? So just go here, let's remove this h1 tag, and I'll create a div, and for this div, let's create with a class called copy box, and inside this div, I will create a span tag. Let's add a class, and I will say copy text. And inside this text, like inside this span, I will pass this text value. And also, I want a button, so let's add a button tag. And here, I will add a class, and I will say copy btn. And one more thing, whenever if I click on this button, I want to copy the content of this span tag. So let's add one more attribute inside this button tag, and I will say data copy. And inside this data copy, I will pass this value because I want to copy this value on click of this button. And here we can say, let's say copy. So quickly. And one more thing to save our time inside this custom plugin development, here we have some icons like copy icon, copied icon. Here we have some piece of CSS code. All these things, don't worry, I will drop into the description of this video. So I will copy this copy icon first. Not good. Let's copy, and I will go here and I will put here. So if I save these changes, and one more thing, let's quickly copy. This is copy box CSS, copy button hover. Not good. Let's copy, and I will put inside this style.css. So if I go here and if I go to this CSS, let's reload. So these are the CSS, and if I go, this is from our shortcode. Now if I reload, and now we can see my text value. This is the value what basically we have passed into this text attribute, and also we are getting a copy button. So I want that whenever if anyone click on this button, this value like this text will get copied. So what we can do, just go here, and one more thing, let's cross verify the class name. So copy box, here we have the copy box, then here we have copy text, span class. There is no CSS for this text, and here we have the copy button, and here we have the copy button. Now we want now next for this copy to clipboard feature. So let's quickly inspect. I will use the pure JavaScript for this feature, for this functionality. If I go to this console tab, so first, as we know that inside this whole row, inside this whole line, we have wrapped each and everything inside this copy hyphen box. So first, if this button gets clicked, I want to detect that. So here we have a class on that button called copy button. So let's go to console tab. So document, add event listener, add event listener, and here we have the click event on this button. So function, and inside this function, what we can do first, we have to search that the class is available. Like if suppose we have clicked somewhere like here, here or anywhere. So before going to this implement to copy to clipboard, also we have to look and find like this class copy button is also should be available. So if I go, and also inside this function we have event object. So event dot target dot class list. If we have multiple classes into a class attribute, so we have to find that that class list will contains a class called copy hyphen button. If this class is available, if this class is available, so in that case what we have to do, we have to copy the content what basically this attribute is going to contain called data hyphen copy. So here let's say const copy content equals to event dot target dot get attribute, because we want to get this data copy. So get attribute, and inside this function, let's pass the attribute name called data hyphen copy. So for the time being, if I log the value, so console.log, let's say copy content, now hit enter. So successfully this piece of code directly we have added into this console. It means this code will work whenever if we click on this button. So let's click on this button. Now this button is going to contain this class called copy hyphen button, and also it has an attribute that is data hyphen copy. So what the content this attribute contains will be printed right here inside this console tab. Click on this button, and now we can see my text value. Again click my text value. Now the same concept we have to implement into our JavaScript file. Let's go here. Now document dot add event listener. So we'll handle by using click event function event object, and then after first we have to check that what element we have clicked, if that element contains a class called copy hyphen button. So event dot target dot class list dot contains and the class is copy hyphen btn. If it contains, so what we can do, const copy content or copy text equals to event dot target dot get attribute, and here the attribute name is data hyphen copy. Now
So
after this, instead of using console.log, now this time we want the feature of copy to clipboard. So to implement the copy to clipboard feature, we have to use navigator object, and navigator object is going to provide by window object. Window is a global object of browser. So either we can write call window dot navigator, or we can simply write call navigator dot clipboard. You can say clipboard, and it provides a method called write text. So inside this write text, simply let's copy this text and put here. So what basically it is doing, here we have an attribute inside our button called data hyphen copy. We are simply reading that value and we are putting inside this clipboard. Now this function write text will return a promise block. So here let's handle that. So inside this then block, if we have a success response, so in that case, what I want that if we click on this button and the text will be copied. So in place of copy, I will say copied. So here and let's say copy text. So simply I want to toggle this text content of this button, and also I'll use this print tick icon. So after success, after copying our text here, let's event dot target dot text content. It means the text content of button, and inside button I will say, let's say copied. And one more thing, after 2 seconds, I want revert from copied to copy text value. Let's copy, and here I will use set timeout, and inside here, after 2 seconds, 2000 milliseconds, it means after 2 seconds, I want to toggle again the content. So event dot target dot text content equals to, and the text content will be, let's say, copy text. Let's do some formatting. Now I
so
will
if
save all these changes. Let's go back to browser. So here we have this button element, and this button element is containing a class called copy hyphen button, and also that button element is also has an attribute called data hyphen copy. So what will happen if I click on this button? It will go first into this if block, and then it will take all the content from this attribute and write inside this clipboard, and we get a message that is called copied, and after 2 seconds it will revert to copy text. Let's go back to browser and do a quick unit testing. So click on this button first. I will reload. Click on this button, and I can see it is not working. And why it is not working? So first, to debug, let's go at the root, and here first I will check that are we coming inside this block or not. So I simply paste event.target.class list. It means whenever if we click on that button, it will first pick all the classes of that button and simply console log. If I go, let's reload, click here, and as we can see, actually it is not coming inside this document dot add event listener. And why it is not coming? Let's go back to main PHP file inside our enqueue method. And here we have used OK. Actually, we did a blunder mistake, and that is instead of using WP enqueue scripts, actually we have used called admin enqueue scripts. So let me tell you one more thing here, that is admin enqueue scripts will be used in those cases where we want to add our CSS or JS files with WordPress admin. But in this case, let's put a comment here. But in this case, as we know that we want our CSS and JavaScript to be added for frontend because this is the frontend layout, I will copy this URL. Let's open a private window, means incognito, and this is a front end layout. So I want our JavaScript and CSS file will be added with this front end. So in that case, instead of using admin in QA script, because this is for WordPress admin, for front end we have to use called admin means sorry WP in QA scripts. So once we add this, let's go, and if I reload, and now we can see also the CSS is working with this copy box element and also the copy button and the text value now formatted. So if I copy means if I click on this button, and now we can see copied. After 2 seconds it reverted. Let's again click copied, and after click on this button, if I go and paste that content what we have, so we can see my text value. Quickly if I go, and here let's go to short code. Let's say WordPress discount, WordPress discount, and the coupon code is, let's say, WP2025. So on the Diwali festive, for example, I'm going to provide some discount values on my website. So simply this will be the coupon for Diwali offer. So WordPress discount WP2025 for Diwali offer. Click on this save button. If I reload, so now we can see this is the value. Here we have the copy text button. So once we click, this whole text will get copied. Click on this button, copied. If I go paste here, and now we can see WordPress discount WP2025 for Diwali offer. So successfully, by the help of this interesting video, now we have created a very interesting plugin inside WordPress, that is a custom plugin where we had learned lots of concept, that is how to create a custom plugin using class-based approach, how to work with shortcode, how to handle parameterized shortcode, and also additionally like how to implement the feature of copy to clipboard. So inside this interesting video, we had learned lots of things while making a custom plugin inside WordPress. So friends, if you think this video is really very helpful to you to make understanding of all this concept, please hit the like button to like this very interesting video. Subscribe to this channel so that I will be motivated to create another amazing videos. And now let's meet to our next amazing videos. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching and have a great day.